to talk a little bit more about the situation in Israel and in Syria, where the ISIS terrorists, who call themselves HTS these days, have been humiliating, raping, kidnapping, murdering wholesale large numbers of Druze, Christians, and Alawites in an act that is nothing short of a real ethnic cleansing attempt and a real genocide attempt. And their preachers have been saying it. And since the terrorists were filming their crimes early on during their crimes, their preachers got upset because they realized that the videos would come back to haunt them. And so they told their terrorists to stop filming, but keep killing. They told them to keep humiliating them and to keep doing all the terrible things that they want to do to them. And they're doing it. Just like the Nazis would shave the beards and payos, sideburns, or side locks, of Jews during the Nazi Third Reich in Germany to humiliate them in public and then often brutalize them and even kill them after they did that. These ISIS scum are doing the exact same thing to the Druze, shaving their beards or their mustaches, which are a great matter of pride to them. And they're doing it publicly and brutalizing them and doing other horrible things. They've been kidnapping and attempting to kidnap even more young women and even girls as young as reportedly for the purpose of taking them into long-term captivity as sex slaves, just like they did to the Yazidis. These are the same people that did this to the Yazidis in Iraq. These people are no different. They just march under a different banner. They used to call themselves ISIS. Before that, Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Before that after that, Islamic State in Iraq, and then after that, Islamic State in Syria, ISIS. And now they just go by HTS. Why did they change their name to HTS? They changed their name to HTS, and they had a public break officially with ISIS and Al-Qaeda in order to win PR. Hello. Hi. And by the way, what was the crime that the Druze committed, allegedly, according to these ISIS terrorist scumbags, that led these terrorists to start attacking the Druze this time around? You got to remember, they were already attacking them months ago. And even back then, the Druze had to stand up and defend themselves, and Israel came and helped them and stopped the attacks. But why did it happen again this time? What was the alleged crime of the Druze people this time? The alleged crime was that some of the Druze came to Israel back in April for a peaceful religious pilgrimage. That's it. That's why they're being murdered. That's their official excuse. The real reason is just because, well, they're not crazy Shia or crazy Sunni Muslims. They don't believe in our perverted version of religion, right? As the Sunnis would say it. They wouldn't call themselves perverted, but they don't believe in our version of religion. You don't believe in our God. You don't believe in our version of our God. So because the Druze have a different religion, they're being targeted. And when I say targeted, I mean they're being killed. There are reports, first it was reports of a handful and then dozens. As of yesterday, the reports are already in the hundreds. It probably could be well over 1,000 by now. There are videos circulating of entire homes, one after the other, every member in the family gathered together in their living rooms and murdered. Just like the Hamas did in Israel on October 7th, 2023. Just like they did. The entire hospital staff at the Druze main hospital in Sueda, which is the main city, main Druze town that's under attack, where there are a lot of people, relatively, for the Druze population. It's a massive population center for them. It's a very small minority ethnic group. There's only about like 1.5 million Druze in the world, and the biggest population of them live in Syria. Suwaid is one of the main places they live. The entire hospital staff in that hospital in Suwaida has been murdered, butchered by these terrorists. Why? Because they're Druze. That's it, because they're Druze. It's collective punishment because a few Druze, whether it was a handful or hundreds or even thousands, a small number of Druze, relatively, came for a peaceful religious pilgrimage to Israel, which was well documented in advance, well publicized in advance, well known in advance. The HTS terrorists and their leader did not publicly say beforehand, you can't go to Israel, you can't do this, you can't do that, during a time of a lot of tumult in his country, in the country that he recently gained power in. There was no specific ban to forbid them from going, even though, yes, traditionally, because Syria and Israel are at war, normally people don't cross the borders. Certainly citizens don't cross the borders normally, but sometimes they do. Israel always receives people for medical treatment, even from countries that are at war with Israel. Israel has a long history of receiving people from Syria and Lebanon. A long history. There's even a fence in Metula called the Good Fence. What is the Good Fence? It's literally a border between Israel and Lebanon that allows people from Lebanon to come into Israel for medical treatment and other assistance. It's been there forever, since Israel, first established it. Why is now different than before? Why are they not allowed to visit now? Well, because the terrorists in charge of Syria have decided to show their true face. They've decided to reveal the mask. Now that they've had sanctions lifted by the US and other countries that are quick to follow what the US does in that regard, they feel emboldened. Now that they have supposed advanced talks to end the long-standing conflict between Syria and Israel, they feel more emboldened. Well, I can tell you, any long-standing conflict between Syria and Israel is certainly not going to end as long as Syria attacks the Druze people and the Christians and the Alawites. And why? Because they are our brothers and sisters. They stand with us. They serve to protect Israel. They are part of our population. They are literally equal rights citizens, just like the Arab Israelis, just like the Jewish Israelis, just like the Bedouin Israel. You name it. Citizens of Israel are citizens of Israel. We all have equal rights. There is no minority group here in Israel that are citizens that don't have equal rights. This country grants equal rights to all of its citizens. And that also means equal responsibilities and also equal protection. And that is why it is so very important for us to protect our brothers and sisters, and yes, even their relatives, when they come under attack in a neighboring country where they have no other way to defend themselves. They have whatever small arms they have to stand up against the Syrian terrorists who are now armed with tanks and rocket launchers and Grad missiles and a number of weapons that still exist. Yes, Israel did manage to destroy the vast majority of the former Syrian army after everybody deserted, and Israel wisely made the decision to destroy the Syrian army's inventory. And you can see now why it was a wise decision, even more so, because they would have used the Syrian Air Force. They would have used much more numbers of tanks and a lot more firepower. And it would have been a much bloodier battle. and a much quicker massacre of even more people had Israel not destroyed even more of the arsenal that the Syrians had at their disposal now, that the Syrian terrorists have at their disposal now. So it's a blessing, a huge one, a huge stroke of luck, or not luck, strategic planning, thinking, and acting by Israel and Israel's military, that they took out the vast majority of Syrian weapons in the days following Assad's downfall. And this again underscores the importance of why Israel did, in fact, take control of the entire, Golan Heights, the top of the Golan Heights, and some of the Druze villages next to Israel's border, precisely for this reason, because we knew that this would happen. I told you this would happen. Go look in my old videos where I told you don't be too excited about this so-called change in government. Yes, it's great that Assad is gone, but what has he been replaced with? And yes, it's better to make the change and give change a chance, but let's be realistic. They got a lot to prove before we can believe them and take them at their word that they're different people. They're not any better. They're going around slaughtering the ethnic minorities across Syria. The Druze, the Kurds, the Christians, the Alawites, it doesn't matter. Because they're not radical Sunni terrorists, they are attacking them and killing them wholesale. Anyway, folks, that's the quick update for now. I'll have to get back to what I have to do here. If you know anyone that can spread the word more, including yourself, spread this on your socials. Let people know, because most people on the planet don't even know that the Druze are even a people. They have no idea they even exist. And they very much do exist. And they're very much at the heart of our country's population. We Israelis, the vast majority of us, we love the Druze. They're amazing people. And we want them not just to survive, but to keep thriving here in Israel. And we want their brothers and sisters in Lebanon and in Syria to be safe and secure and thrive as well. So please spread the word on your socials, like this video, subscribe or do whatever you can. Just pass the word around. Even just go on your socials and write, save the Druze, stand with the Druze, whatever. Just spread it on socials. X, LinkedIn, Insta, wherever. Do something. Let it not be known that when there was a real genocide, you were silent. Okay? Do something good. Peace.